first of all, give us your reaction to this bill and whether you expect the long process of really becoming law to actually happen.
It will become law. There is no way that this is going to fail. The compromise that was put together in the Senate really mirrors the work that we've already done here in the House of Representatives. The numbers are in the same range. Can always cut the difference between the two numbers. But the various programs that were in the compromise that the Senate put together are also in legislation that the House is going to be taking up, has already passed the House committee. So yes, we're on the way. One of the words we've always used in California, the California farm workers always say, "Si se puede." Yes, we can. We will get this done. It's a very, very good moment. Good moment for America. Good moment, really, for the free world, and a good moment to push back against China.
So is this bipartisan bill then really conditional to what the president has called the human infrastructure package? And given that you still have to work on that reconciliation bill, how long could it take?
I believe this is going to be done by the late part of this year. The fiscal year, of course, is over at the end of September. We probably will not make that deadline on all of the legislation, but the infrastructure will definitely be ready to go in the early fall, whether we take it up there or later, depending, as you just suggested, on the soft infrastructure. Now, do keep in mind that one piece of the soft infrastructure has already passed the Senate. It passed the Senate under the guise of competition with China. But $130 billion of that soft infrastructure package was specifically for research facilities, for science education. That is a big piece of the Biden agenda that's already in place, including Make It in America. A lot of that, the remaining $100 billion or so, was to support America's industries being competitive in the world environment. The tech industry, specifically electronic chips of one sort or another, other kinds of advanced technology manufacturing in America. So that's already out of the Senate. That will clearly pass the House. So the pieces of the puzzle are coming together.
So some of the criticism, Congressman, has been that it's light on the climate measures, right? Do we expect these measures to be worked out through the reconciliation process?
I think it's to underestimate what is actually in the Senate compromise. When you look at the electrification of American highways, that is a major part of any of the green technologies. There's also a major piece in those negotiations, not specified in law yet or in law language, but rather in the generalities, and grid, the electrical grid. There's also programs that can easily be interpreted as being the green energy technologies, wind, solar, batteries. Those are probably included in some of the large elements that are in that compromise. Clearly, the electrification is there. The charging stations are there. So all of that is part of it. Some of the things that are going to also be part of that is the conservation of energy, and I think we'll see that in some of the elements going forward.
Talk to us about the funding, because I think there are questions about how that's going to happen. It seems to be a bit of a hodgepodge of measures, because clearly tax rises was a red line from the Republicans. Is that, again, something that's going to have to be worked out through the budget reconciliation process?
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors here. What is real remains to be seen. The Republicans refused to raise taxes on the higher income or on corporations. Biden refused to raise taxes on anybody that's earning less than $400,000. I think that leaves maybe 10 people that reside between $400,000 and being upper income. Yeah, that is clearly the straightforward taxes are not there. However, there is a huge amount of money that is expected to be gathered from tax avoidance. In other words, these are folks that have been avoiding paying taxes by playing it close to the line on tax law, or maybe over the line on tax law. There's a very significant increase now before the House Financial Appropriations Committee to fund the IRS. We're talking about a few $billion more annually for the IRS to go after this tax avoidance issue. We do know that in 2011 through 2013, it was estimated that over $380 billion of tax money was not collected, but properly owed. And so for those folks that are playing it close, probably many of whom are listening to this right now, the IRS is coming after you. Donald Trump, beware. The IRS is going to have the personnel to go after folks that have been playing it closer over the line on tax avoidance.
Congressman, you've mentioned how big chunks of what Democrats wanted in the bill were also achieved through the China bill. What else could we see on that front as we are seeing now more bipartisan consensus on the need to push back against Beijing?
Well, certainly the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee are dealing with the American military issues. And virtually every element of that discussion is juxtapositioning the United States military against the Chinese military buildup. And so on that side, we're seeing very significant activity. Similarly, we're seeing very significant activity on building our alliances and relationships. I noticed you have on this screen or part of this discussion our friends from Australia. And so you'll see the United States government and the Congress rapidly building our relationships, which were frayed and in some cases nearly destroyed by our former president. We're seeing that with NATO. We're certainly seeing it in the Pacific.